Kings Island's Winterfest is coming up on its biggest time of year. And today we're talking about every single thing that you need to know about that park and that event. So I hope you're ready and excited. Let's go. What's up, cool people? Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Now, today's video is intended to be a one-stop shop for every single thing that you may possibly want to know about Kings Island 2023. And really about Winterfest 2023. So we're talking A to Z, from ticket prices to every other thing that could possibly happen, shows, food, drinks, everything. So I hope that you can use this for if you are planning on coming to really get at least a bird's eye idea of what this event is really like. If you would like to delve deeper and you'd like to talk about whether it's worthwhile for you or the other things that are actually there and experience them with me, then please go check out the vlogs about Winterfest also. But let's get into this. First of all, for tickets, I will show it up on the screen, but also I will link this down below. There are different ticket deals that you can potentially get. Right away, you have the first deal package that you can get, and it's the more the merrier sale. For $24.99, you can buy 4 different tickets, and I believe those could be it could be just 4 tickets for you if you wanted to. If that's the case, I recommend buying the pass instead. But you could buy 4 for 4 different people. And with that, I think it's probably the most worthwhile option that you could get if you're planning on coming in a group for Kings Island. However, it is a limited time offer. It's not going to be going for forever. I think it probably only has a week left at this point. So go check that out right away if you want to. Otherwise, Winterfest admission is $29.99. Or you can get the Winterfest bundle, and the Winterfest bundle includes a single meal deal. It includes Winterfest souvenir mug, and it also includes, of course, admission to the park. Or you can also do the Holiday Magic with family and friends, save $20 off the gate price, exclusive discount for season pass holders, and purchase up to 6 discounted tickets. That's $24.99 for that also. Very similar to the more the merrier sale. You can also, on top of that, buy a few extra things. The Winterfest souvenir mug is $13.99. As I mentioned in one of my videos, you can get the VIP igloo rental for $225. And that would be, it is 8 guests, up to 8 guests. I think I said in that video 6 guests, but 8 guests for that. So great thing if you want to divide that up a little bit. You can do Mrs. Claus's cookie decorating. That's $20.99. And you can go ice skating on the lake, on the main, where all the fountains are during the main season. That's $20 per person for that, though. Mrs. Claus's cookies are $20.99. But that is for 4 large sugar cookies, and it could be as many people as you want. I mean, I think if you have 8 people there to decorate those cookies, that's fine. It's just giving you a box of those four giant cookies, and then you get to decorate them. I don't really think that's very worthwhile, but if it's worthwhile to you, then it's worthwhile to you, so go ahead and do it. On top of that, the very first thing that you are going to do coming into Kings Island is you are going to have parking. You immediately come into a long road that takes you into parking. You are going to need to make sure that you are prepared for $25 per car to get into parking. Now, if you have a gold pass, if you have a platinum pass, or if you have a prestige pass, then that is not a problem. This next year, you only have gold or prestige passes. So if you are one of those for this coming year, then it is also free for you to enter and to park at that point. Also, I do believe that with the prestige pass, you do get parking included with that. But the problem is I've had that not work a couple different times with my Cedar Point pass, even though it should work. So be prepared for that, or, ready for that just in case it doesn't work. I've seen them turn away several people at this point, so it could not work. Hours for this event is generally 5 to 10 on Fridays, and then 4 to 10 on Saturday, Sunday. But that does change a little bit as we near the Christmas vacation more. Now, things do change once the 18th comes. Everything is just the same. It's only weekends until the 18th. At that point, 5 p.m. Monday the 18th, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. And it is 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. every single day from that point on throughout the rest of the Christmas vacation, except for, of course, the weekends, which is still 4 to 10. Now, Sunday the 24th, Christmas Eve, they are closed at that point. So make note of that just in case you were hoping maybe to come. I'm assuming most people aren't planning on coming on Christmas Eve and Christmas. But after Christmas, they are still open for another week up until New Year's Eve. And on New Year's Eve, they kind of have their biggest bash of the year. At that point, New Year's Eve, Sunday the 31st, it is 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. that they are open. It's a wild, wild party, and it is crazy, crazy busy. I've never been there before. I'm kind of wondering if maybe I should this year. Let me know down in the comments if you're wanting me to go, if you think it'd be really fun to see me experience that massive, incredibly busy day, so that you guys kind of have an idea of it also for future years. If it's something that gets enough interest, maybe I'll go check it out. We'll see. And then after that, on New Year's Day, they are closed for the rest of the season up until I think it is May of of 2024. Now, like I said, you can buy passes, and this year, if you're coming to Kings Island and you want to go back to Kings Island this coming year, my recommendation is always to buy the season pass. If you can get a gold with the all park access, that's basically like buying a former prestige pass. It gets you into every single park across the chain, and it also gets you into Kings Island as often as you'd like. Or you can buy the prestige pass. There is no platinum pass this coming year, and again, you have the all park add-on. I do think prestige is maybe a little bit less worthwhile this year, because if you want early park entry, you have to have the prestige pass. The prestige pass, it carries with it lots of other benefits like parking and things like that, but it is quite a bit more expensive, but it's the only option for early park entry this next year, so I think a lot of people will opt for it. The cool part about early park entry the past 2 years is that very few people were able to get that early park entry, especially for prestige. There was a specific prestige line. This year, there's not going to be that extra prestige line that's a safe spot for anyone with that prestige pass. So I was able to come in late and not have to wait in an already large line waiting for early park entry and just go straight in. That's not going to be the case this next year. So I do think they've lowered a lot of the value of that pass because of that. So use at your discretion, whatever it is that you think is right. There's still a good chance I'm going to end up buying the prestige pass, but we'll see. I'm not totally sold yet. And also with the Prestige Pass, if you only buy the Prestige Pass, it will only get you into Kings Island. If you buy the Prestige Pass, you also have to add the all park access, and then that will get you into every single park in the Cedar Fair chain. Now, if you are coming into Kings Island, there are two main highways that are kind of going to get you the best. First of all, on the south side, you have Cincinnati, and you have the loop going all the way around Cincinnati, which is 275. The real highway that it is situated literally right off of is Highway 71. So you have to get to Highway 71 one way or another, and Highway 71 takes you between Cincinnati and Columbus. But I usually come from northwest-ish, and so because of that, I end up taking Highway 70, but that'll give you a bit of an idea of how to get there overall. It is very suburban in Cincinnati, so it's it's a little bit more of a like a populated area, as opposed to Sandusky, which is a smaller city and not quite as much of a larger suburban area like Kings Island is situated in. Especially because Kings Island is right between Cincinnati and Dayton, and right there, I mean, it's such a massive population center. The two cities basically just run into each other. Now, like I said earlier, there are some benefits to Prestige pass. Like I said earlier, the parking is one of those benefits, but it seems like they haven't included those benefits, at least for this time of year. But the Prestige Lounge is still a benefit, so you can still go hang out there, and they do have heated lamps there, they do have food, they do have chips, and they have some water for you to enjoy while you're there. So if you just kind of want a spot to be able to hang out and settle down just a little bit and maybe heat up with some heat lamps, then that's a great place to go if you have that Prestige Pass. Now, as you are entering the park, you do need to think of a couple different things. First of all, of course, there is the security line. Going into the security line, I always recommend going to the one that is furthest away, the entrance that's furthest away from where you're entering from. Usually there's two right in one area, but the one that's closest to where everyone is walking from in the park, because Kings Island's parking lot is kind of divided into two spots with a walking path right in the middle. So you have this side of the parking lot and this side of the parking lot. If you're coming in this way, then go just a little bit further to the next entrance, and there's almost never a line. But most people usually just stop in the very first line that they see, so that line gets way long. So that'll save you just a little bit of time getting in. And then when you go into the main ticket area, make sure that you have your ticket out on your phone, or of course I have a physical ticket that I always keep in my wallet, so make sure that that gets pulled out, you're ready to go, and you can just scan that as soon as you walk in. It'll expedite the process really, really fast for you, which is definitely good. Now, inside the park, first of all, Kings Island has some different rules. So with that rule, if you're a minor, you cannot be in the park just by yourself walking around. You do have to have a chaperone. Now, that chaperone does not have to be with you 100% of the time, but they do have to be able to be reached by Kings Island and I believe on the premises. So you do need to keep that in mind. Don't just try to come as a minor. You know, if you're 15 years old, don't just try to come with your friends. That would work at Cedar Point. That would not work at Kings Island. Now, as soon as you start to walk in, what I love about Kings Island is it's very much set up in a Disney-esque kind of a manner. I love how you walk in and you have the awning over you, so you really can't see into the park very well. And as you come out of that awning, all of the landscape of Kings Island just spreads out in front of you, and it's a beautiful park. International Street is right in front of you, and for Winterfest, you just see every light lighting up the entire park. So there's beautiful lights right in the middle of the fountain. Of course, you see people ice skating, and then all of International Street is beautifully decorated, and the Eiffel Tower is a fantastic Christmas tree, which is really, really fun. Now, when you come in, if you're coming in right at opening, at park opening, then things are not lit up at that point quite yet, but they do have a fantastic lighting ceremony that we'll get into in just a little bit. Now, Kings Island, obviously, it's Winterfest. It is during winter, and it is a like Christmas/holiday celebration. With that, it is a very, very cold time of year. So because of that, this is a great opportunity for families. It's a really fun thing for kids, but those kids will freeze to death. So you got to make sure that you are ready to be able to keep them nice and warm. I always have hot hands with me one way or another. There are things that I do with just having snow pants for my daughter, making sure that she has several pairs of like shirts on, several pairs of socks on, boots. You know, think like you are going sledding. You can always take things off and carry them for your kid, or go back out and put them in the car. There are no restrictions like there are at Halloween weekends about coming in and out of the park. Also, make sure to know where you need to go to keep things warm. There are several places inside where you can warm up, especially Fest House is a really good one. And I have a whole video about that I'll link up above and link down below. So go check that video out, how to stay warm at Kings Island. And also, reading the comments of that video is worthwhile too, because there were people who came up with even more places. So go check out that video and go check out the comments. And let me know if there are other places where maybe you like to keep warm. Also, if there are other tips and tricks, tell me down below in the comments. I love to hear from you guys down there. And if there are things that people need to know or that I didn't quite cover about all of this, because there's a lot to cover, then you know, tell me down below. Tell us down below. It doesn't just help me with the algorithm, which it does, but it also helps other people while they're planning their trips, and that's really appreciated. Now, what to do at Kings Island for Winterfest? There are 2 roller coasters that are open for Winterfest. So if you're a coaster lover, that's a great thing. But if you are only a coaster lover, I wouldn't recommend this event to you. But if you like a mix of things, then it's definitely worthwhile. There are 6 flat rides that are open that are also very, very fun. And of course, the entertainment is a really, really strong part about this. There's a lot of entertainment to be found at Winterfest, which I really enjoy because, you know, I love entertainment. Live-E is one of my favorite things. On top of that, there's the normal food that you normally have at the park. Some of it is particularly wonderful. I wouldn't say that Kings Island is renowned or even really pretty good with food. It's decent. I'm not saying it's bad food by any means, and there's a few places that are really good, but the food is just kind of more normal food mostly. Grain and Grill accepted on that. Drinks, on the other hand, Kings Island has some fantastic drinks, especially for the holidays. A couple of warm options too, and I love that. Also, the bartenders are really fantastic. For their merch and their shopping, there's a ton to do with that also. And I have a video that includes a ton of the merch options. So you can go check that out. That would save you some time if you're in the park and you want to go maybe buy something, but you don't want to go peruse through all of the stores. I can save you some time by checking out that video, and you can see all the different options before you leave to go to the park. And that video will be linked down below also, and probably up above also. There are, of course, the pay activities that we talked about before, the $225 igloos that you can stay in, and the ice skating that you can also do, also decorating Christmas cookies with Mrs. Claus. And then, of course, there are a few fun free activities too to do with the kids. And we'll get into those in just a little bit here. So let's just keep going. We're already at this point in recording 27 minutes in. So let's go. Now, the coasters that I mentioned earlier are Mystic Timbers and Flight of Fear. Flight of Fear, often it's a little bit dicey about whether or not I'm going to be able to fit into them. I did figure out a trick though. The second row, meaning, so you of course have two rows in each car. The second row of each car, so 2, 4, 6, 8, however far out back it goes, those rows are a little bit bigger, so I fit better into those. If I've tried to hit into the odd number cars, those ones I generally don't fit into. So as a point of measurement, that may be something to help you out a little bit if you're a little bit of a bigger guy like me. Now, I love both of these coasters. They're very, very fun. Flight of Fear makes me feel sick. Mystic Timbers does not. Mystic Timbers, I think, is almost a perfect ride. I like it very, very much. They both do have single rider lines. They do not have fast lane. So with my Prestige Pass, I was able to get a fast lane during the main season. So each day coming in, I got one fast lane, and I could use that on all the different rides that I wanted. In this case, I cannot do that because those lines are not open. Those lines now are single rider lines. So you can see me use those in my prior videos. They're really easy to use. You just walk up and basically you go into the exit on one of them, and on the other one you go in down the fast lane entrance, and you just get right up to the front, and they seat you as they need to. So they're really good. They're not good if they end up being really long lines. So that's my one caution to you. But if you're one person, you can definitely use those. Or if you're a party of several. The problem is with each train, there's usually only one extra seat, maybe 2 extra seats. So if you have a party of 4 and you're all using the single rider line thinking it's going to be a lot faster, you're still going to end up going through maybe like 8 trains, which often isn't even faster than what the long line would be. So that's a word of caution for using those single rider lines. Now, in the flat ride division, there are a lot of kids rides open. The smaller rides, the like little cars that you can take on a track, a couple of different flyer rides, those are open. So there's a lot for your kids to do. But beyond that, you have Cargo Loco, Soul Spin, Dodge 'em, Zephyr, Scrambler, and Kings Mills Antique Cars. Also in the kids rides, but kind of still an adult ride too, to me, is House on Boo Hill, because I think that's a really fun haunted attraction that I think is worthwhile for everyone, not just for kids. On top of that, they do have the free activities that are also really fun, and they're just little things. The Holly Jolly Trolley is really fun. It's a very slow moving trolley ride that takes you down. It's not International Street, it's down the Coney Mall area. Which is really, really fun. I enjoyed it immensely, but I always love a little ride like that. It's very much like Main Street vehicles kind of a feel. And then you also have the ice slide. You can send cards to Santa at the North Pole Post Office, which is really hard for me to say. And then of course there are multiple different themed areas with different Christmas lights everywhere that you can go enjoy. And it's just a beautiful area. Like, just walking around the park is worthwhile, I think. I have also posted at this point a walkthrough of Kings Island. So if you want to kind of get an idea, even though it doesn't match up to the actual experience of the park, go check that video out. It'll give you kind of an idea of what things look like at Kings Island and the beauty that you're going to see. So it's worthwhile in that way. There also are several different like picture moments around the park, basically things that you can take pictures with. There are some carousels, there are some characters also that you can take pictures with, like a Jack Frost kind of a character. There's like an Ice Queen, and there's a carriage that you can sit in. There's just a lot of pretty little props around that you can be in. There's one thing that I really like and that my daughter really likes, which is like a standing snow angel that you're in. So it looks like you're making a snow angel, but you're standing up instead of laying down. So those are all just fun things, especially for families to do. There's a family of penguins, and there's a snowman that you can be the head of the snowman. Just some different fun things like that I think are worthwhile to go check out at least once. On top of that, we have the food, and I did go in and check out all the different food as far as what's actually on the site. You have Chicken Shack, Coney Barbecue, Enrique's. I still don't know what the right way is to say that. If you know down below, let me know down in the comments. Fest House, Grain and Grill, Jukebox Diner, La Rosa's Pizzeria, Panda Express, which is in Fest House, Planet Snoopy Grill, Potato Works, and Skyline Chili. You can also buy an all-year meal pass to go with those. I really recommend that. If you didn't buy one for this last year, then I recommend buying one for this next year. If you are going multiple times, I think it took me maybe 6 visits to a Cedar Fair park before I made up the money on buying my meal plan for all year. So I definitely think it's worthwhile if you're going to be there a lot. If you are not going to be there a lot, then don't buy the pass. Just buy either one of the deals that you can buy, or just get a regular meal when you come into the park that evening. Now, one of my favorite parts about coming to Kings Island is getting a creative and fun drink. Like I said earlier, they make some warm drinks, which I really like, but there are several different places where you can get one. Actually, not that many in comparison to Cedar Point in particular. There's only about 4 different places at Kings Island, but Kings Island is a less spread out park, and it is a much more what's the word I'm looking for? It's a much easier park to walk across. So because of that, nothing really feels that far away all the time. So it's pretty easy to get to a location to grab a drink if you want to. So you have Mercado, you have Fest House, you have Miami River Brew House, and then there are a couple of different booths that will serve alcohol here or there, kind of depending on where you are. Fest House does not have the specialty drinks that you can get. It's usually just canned stuff there, so if you want a beer, Fest House is great for you. It is nice to be able to grab a drink at Fest House and be able to watch a show at the same time, which we'll get into talking about shows in just a second here. But Miami Brew House and Mercado both have specialty drinks. that are specifically handcrafted in front of you. Definitely worthwhile in my opinion for those. Now finally, as the last part of this video, we're going to talk about the different shows. First of all, you have the tree lighting ceremony. It's what it sounds like. there's some kids that sing. I call them kids. They're really probably, I mean, they really are probably a lot younger than I am, but they're like in their 20s. And they sing in front of you. It's fun to watch, and then they tell you to turn around and you watch the tree light up, and then everything lights up and you have a countdown. That's really fun. It's an enjoyable time.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy Winterfest, Kings Island!
The Winterfest Wonderland Parade is very fun. However, I have a massive word of caution on that. It used to be that the parade came down and went all the way around International Street on both sides, and then went around the Eiffel Tower. And before that, the route came all the way from Orion, essentially. It does not do that anymore. It does come from Orion, but it goes all the way around the Eiffel Tower, and at that point it's moving slow, so you can watch it there. But if you wanted to watch it on International Street, you can only watch it on the street that's furthest away from Orion. So when you come in and you're looking at the Eiffel Tower, it's the street that's to your right. If you're on the left side, you're only going to see about half of that parade. So that's something that's really important to know, I think, because we got stuck at the very end of the parade route, and right at that point, all of the characters get off, or at least the majority of them do, and then they all go where they're supposed to go, and then the parade just goes really fast back. You still can see the floats and stuff like that, but it's not nearly the exciting thing that the actual parade would be. And then the next show is Swinging into Christmas. That happens in Fest House. It's a nice warm show to be able to watch, and I did get to check just a little bit of it. It does seem like a really fun show, so it's worthwhile to go check out. Mistletones, I've seen them in past years, but I have not yet seen them this year. I saw them both at Kings Island, and I was able to see them at Cedar Point for their winter activities that are just in Sawmill Creek. Always love the Mistletones. Usually it's a trio of girls that are basically, it's like a doo-wop group, essentially. Songs of the Nativity makes me cry every single year. It used to have live animals in it. It does not have live animals anymore, which I think is sad. But they're building a new coaster in the auditorium where it was held for the last several years. But instead, this year, they are holding it still in the kids area, and it's a beautiful thing to go listen to. I think it's absolutely worthwhile, and you know, don't sleep on that one. I've been here all of 10 minutes and they've already made me cry. It's good. It's the true meaning of Christmas. It's singing about Jesus. So I love it. Next is Holly Holiday's String Along. It is inside Mercado, and I'd actually never gone to this until this year. It's just a girl with a guitar, but she's singing different holiday, songs, and Here Comes Santa Claus and stuff like that. It's really fun to be a part of, and you can grab a drink while you're inside, or you can just warm up along with your kids to just listen to some Christmas carols. It's absolutely worthwhile, especially as far as the heat goes, and just having a spot to kind of warm up. So definitely worthwhile in that way. Next is Tinker's Toy Factory. I think Tinker's Toy Factory has to be the favorite of mine on this list. I love Tinker's Toy Factory, and it's funny because it's kind of gone from a cheesy novelty to okay, I'm really starting to fall in love with this show. So it's really fun to watch. It's worth watching a couple different times if you want to, especially if you like shows a lot. But it just kind of gets better and better to me throughout the years. Speaking of family-friendly events, you also have the Charlie Brown Christmas show. Definitely worthwhile. It's really fun. I've been in prior years but have not gone this year. And always that goes right back to back with What the Dickens, or this year Bah Humbug What the Dickens, which is like a live comedy troupe that tells the story of Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol. And it's definitely a fun one to watch. And they always have like a few ad-libbed moments, and it's funny, but it's a classic story, so it's worthwhile to hear. They also have ice carvers. They're insanely talented and make some of the most beautiful things. It's crazy. They have a Coca-Cola Polar Plunge game show. It's really for kids, and they do like trivia with them and stuff like that. And then they have Reindeer Roundup, which it's just animatronics. That's all it is, telling a story of kind of reindeers. And it's nothing to write home about, but it's something to see if you want to, and if you're walking by, it's worthwhile to stop for maybe, a minute and just kind of see part of it, and then just kind of keep walking by. Do it. That's fine. So, thank you guys so much for hanging out today for this complete overview. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you have, please press that like button. Like I said before, if you haven't seen this stuff in action, then go check out my other videos about this topic, both from this year and from last year, or even the year before that. I will include links down below for all of my Winterfest activities that I've done. So hopefully that'll really give you an idea of what this event is like. I've enjoyed this event immensely the past several years, and I definitely think it's worthwhile to go check out. So thank you guys so much for hanging out today. Let me know if this is something that you are going to plan on going to visit this year, especially if maybe I changed your mind. I don't know if I have or not. And I certainly don't want to recommend something just to everyone. If there's some people who this is not the event for. So let me know that also down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Press that like button and let's go. Hey, thanks for watching. I release theme park related videos at least a couple times a week, so press that subscribe button if you made it this far. Also, check out similar videos in the playlist to the right, or find my newest video to the left. Thanks again, and let's go!